Alright folks, fits the crack. I hope you are all well today. So you will be able to see that I am in a different location from usual. I'm not at my kitchen table, instead I am on my living room floor. And the reason I'm here is that today I'm doing an indoor picnic mukbang. So those of you watching who also live in the UK will be pretty familiar with the idea of an indoor picnic. Or possibly a car picnic, because quite often what happens in the UK is you'll wake up in the morning, it's a beautiful day, you think, oh, looks like a nice day for a picnic, you'll get it all set up, you'll plan somewhere to go, you'll head outside and it starts tipping it down. So you end up having an indoor picnic, or as I say, a car picnic, because sometimes you're away out in the middle of nowhere and it starts tipping it down. So you just huddle together in your car and break out whatever you've packed for lunch. So I'm sure you're all keen to know what I've got in front of me, and I'm also keen to get stuck in. So let's go through what I've got. So in front of me here is the main event. This is my stuffed picnic loaf. I've showed you the recipe for that last week. If you haven't seen it already, you can go ahead and click the link down in the description, and I'll also link to it at the end of the video as well. Essentially it's a loaf of bread stuffed with whatever ingredients you want to put in there, layered up so that when I cut into it, it's going to look gorgeous. So I think I will do that now, and then I'll show you the rest of what I've got. I've just moved the basket out of the way and repositioned myself so that I've got better access to cut this. This is exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like inside. It's not quite coming away. I don't want to end up scoring the board. Here we go. Ta-da! Give you a bit of a closer view. Oh, the board's quite heavy. There we go, there you go. That's it. So, let me run through what we've got in here. I'm going to have to bend forward to see what I've got in. So on the top we have got some Parma ham. This is all quite sort of Italian themed. It's like a caprese. Caprese, for those who don't know, is basil, tomato and mozzarella. So and there's a few other things in there as well. So we have got Parma ham on the top, so another Italian ingredient, mozzarella, tomatoes. Doesn't seem to be all the way along there. I don't quite know what's happened there. There's a few more bits of tomato on that side. Lettuce, and I've got some basil in there as well. Both the lettuce and the basil are homegrown. Got those growing in pots. It's not quite time for tomatoes yet, but I will be having some tomatoes coming. Under that I've got some roast chicken, and right at the very bottom I've got some roasted red pepper. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that looks nice and colourful, and it is going to taste amazing too. So in my little picnic basket I have got some paper plates, essential for picnic. Got some cutlery in here too. Need those later. So although, as I say, the picnic loaf has some Italian ingredients in there, most of the other stuff here is what you would typically get in a British picnic. Obviously there's umpteen things that you could take on a picnic, but these are pretty typical of a British picnic, which I thought I'd do because I know that I've got some viewers in other countries and you'd probably be interested in seeing what sort of stuff that we would typically take. And there doesn't really tend to be much difference between England and Scotland, and I suppose Wales and Ireland as well, on what we take in a picnic. There's probably some sort of regional variations here and there, stuff that's more popular in other areas, but this stuff that I'm going to show you today would be pretty typical of any area. So I have got some pork pies, very popular in the UK, particularly on work buffets. You will not go to a work buffet and not see a pork pie. So a pork pie is pretty much what it says on the tin. You've got some watercrust pastry on the outside and pork mince and gelatin on the inside. Pretty simple stuff, but tasty. Other thing I have in here is a Scotch egg, and these consist of, first of all, an egg. Quite often the little ones it'll be a quail's egg, or in bigger ones you'll have a chicken egg. I think this one might be a chicken egg. I've not made these myself, these are shop bought, as are the pork pies. I'm afraid they're a bit finicky to make, and I think the sandwich was enough effort today. I've made my own drink as well. Anyway, yeah, so egg and pork again. We're quite fond of pork in the UK. You do sometimes get other meats, mince around the outside of a Scotch egg. I went to a food festival a couple of months ago now, and there was gourmet Scotch eggs, and they had all sorts of different kinds of Scotch egg. They had venison ones, they had a sort of spicy chorizo one, all sorts of different ones. And lastly, you'll have some breadcrumbs to coat it, and then it's fried, or to be a little bit more healthy, you can roast them in the oven as well. Now, you will all have heard of Einstein's law of relativity, but have you heard of Cole's law? It's thinly sliced vegetables with mayonnaise. Sorry, it's such a bad joke. Right, lastly, we have some, oh, there goes the plates. We have some potato salad there as well. Now I'm going to rearrange things a little bit, I think. And lastly, to drink, I have got a mojito. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see it as well because I've got this jar with a print on it. But you should be able to see some green stuff floating around in there. That is the mint and the lime. I absolutely love a mojito for summer cocktail. It's the perfect summer cocktail. It's so refreshing. It would be more refreshing if it had more ice in it. There was ice in there, but it's all melted in the time that it's taken me to go through all this stuff. But I actually don't like a lot of ice in my cocktails or in drinks in general, because I feel like it melts and then it dilutes the drink, and I want to be able to taste it. So for those of you who don't know what is in a mojito, there is, I'm trying to remember here, there is lime, mint, it's very refreshing, bit of ice, sugar, soda water, oh, and the thing that makes it a cocktail, rum, white rum. You can add other variations. I know that I've seen ones where it's been made with like vodka as well. Did have an amazing one in a bar in Aberdeen that was a watermelon mojito. Very nice, very summery. So that is it. I have absolutely yammered away here, so I'm going to cut a slice of the sandwich and I will get to eating. Okay, so there is my big old slice of the sandwich there. I think I'm going to have to start with this. If you've got a slice this wide, can be a bit precarious when you pick it up. Mm. 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 That is delicious. It really is. I love caprese. I am caprese crazy. One thing I forgot to say that is an ingredient in this is pesto. I named all the different layers, but it's also got some pesto around the outside of the bread. Again, another awesome flavour in there, and part of the caprese flavours. Oh, there's just so much flavour going on in this sandwich, and so many colours and everything. This is why I love stuffed loaf sandwiches. Mm. If I look really happy, it's because I'm really happy. I am a happy camper with this. It's another thing that would be good for a camping trip. You should probably take some tissues with you if you're going to have this in your picnic. I would always recommend taking tissues with you on a picnic, no matter what. In fact, actually better with probably wet wipes, because you'll end up with sticky fingers. Mm. Last time I made this sandwich, I didn't add the Parma ham, but it is definitely worth adding that in because it adds a really nice salty kick to the sandwich. It's really, really moist as well because of the tomato and the pesto around the outside. My hands have gotten a bit sticky, like I said. Wow. I could happily have another 2 or 3 slices of that. But I'm actually going to save the rest for my lunches. So I've got plenty else to eat here, as you can see. I'm going to get myself some potato salad. And some coleslaw. Just remembering my own terrible joke. Actually reminds me of something that a lecturer said back when I was at uni. So, in our exams, for this module, it was, I think it was mostly physics in that module, and we had to quote certain laws a fair bit. And he said, he was talking about something that was like a rule of thumb. So, well, I would have said most people would know that a rule of thumb is like a kind of, is generally right. Like, it works most of the time. That, like, that's what a rule of thumb means. But he said to us to not, when we were doing our exams, write thumb's rule. Apparently someone in an exam had actually written thumb's rule, like you might say like Einstein's rule of blah blah blah, or Cole's law. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it was a foreign student, maybe that was why. You would hope that an English speaker would know what rule of thumb meant, but yeah, anyway. Right, I'm thirsty for some mojito. Sorry, this the noise of this straw is really horrible, but I want to give it a stir. Get it all mixed together well. Oh. Oh, that's nice. Very minty. It's nice and fresh. The straw's getting a bit clogged up with the mint, I think. You always end up chewing a bit of mint when you have a mojito. As well as being able to add a very much icy one, other benefit making your own cocktail is adding as much alcohol as you want. When I was making this though, I almost completely forgot to add the alcohol. I took a sip of it as I was making it, see whether I needed to add more or less of anything. This is a cheesy coleslaw. It's got a bit of cheddar cheese mixed in there. Yeah, but I had a little sip and I thought, this doesn't taste like rum. I'm not tasting any alcohol here. And then I realised I hadn't actually added it. I had it sat in a little shot glass and I hadn't added it yet. Still wasn't quite enough after that, so I added a cheeky little couple of glugs to it. Very easy to make though, a mojito. So long as you've got mint and rum. Most people will probably have the other ingredients just lying around. Oh, and the lime. I guess not everybody would have limes sitting around. I'm going to have a little pork pie. It's got some of the coleslaw on it. Oops. that's the inside of it. There's not a whole lot to see, I'll be honest. It is literally the pastry and pork mince. Some flavouring in there. Yeah, I bought just basic pork pies just to show you what a pork pie was like. There's nought wrong with a bog standard pork pie. It will always taste good. You do get big pork pies as well. These are mini pork pies, which are the type that you tend to get at picnics. But you get big ones, and they do tend to have extra stuff in them to make them a bit more interesting, a bit more tasty. Sorry, it's not. I know it's not a nice sound. I'll stop doing that. You can probably hear that the coleslaw is nice and crunchy. Let's have a bit of the Scotch egg next. That certainly looks like a chicken egg to me. It's a pretty big egg. There's not a lot of sausage meat actually. There's usually a bit more sausage meat. It's not as nice as the gourmet one that I had at the food festival, but it was still pretty good. Scotch egg could do with more pork mince. Let me know in the comments what sort of stuff you would take on a picnic. Well, I was going to say if you're not from the UK, but even if you are from the UK, let me know what sort of stuff you would take. Because like I said, there's lots of different options for you to take on a picnic. If it's edible, you can take it. It's mostly the transportation that's an issue, isn't it? So, I'm going to admit to something. I've got a little bit of a summertime crush. Which happens in summer. People have time off, people go on holiday. You get a little summer crush. And if you're lucky, a little summer fling. But I've got a YouTube crush. I've got a crush on another YouTuber. No, I'm not telling. I'm not telling you who it is. It's a gardening channel though. I'll give you that clue. I've been quite into gardening channels and gardening videos because I'm growing my own garden. Growing my own vegetables. One of the main reasons I have a crush on him is because he wears glasses. I know it sounds a bit odd, but I've got a real thing for glasses. I have done since I got into Harry Potter, basically. I had a crush on Harry Potter, and since then, I've been into glasses. It's one of these nature versus nurture things. It's like, do I like glasses because of Harry Potter, or do I like Harry Potter because of the glasses? But that seems to be where it started. I think the crush is also relates to the fact that, you know, like he's quite enthusiastic about what he does. So it's it's easy to fall for someone who's like quite positive and energetic and stuff, and loves doing what they do. But the glasses are what drew me in. You stick a pair of glasses on someone, and for me, they're like instantly 10 times more attractive than they were without the glasses. I've got some sort of fetish for it, I don't know. But it's always been a thing. And I realised that it's not actually just not just glasses, it's anything like around the eyes. When I was little, I really liked the Phantom of the Opera. I don't think I hadn't watched it, obviously not been to see a musical when I was that young. I'm trying to think when I first heard it. I must have been pretty young. But like heard it and sort of seen the advertisements and stuff, and like heard the sort of basic story and the the main theme. The Phantom of the Opera is there. Apologies for butchering that song. So yeah, masks, masquerade masks, they work as well. I have seen the Phantom of the Opera. When did I see it? I saw it a couple of years ago in London. Before then I'd seen the film. And I've always rooted for the Phantom. The other guy's like, it's boring. It's just like, he doesn't really have a character. It's just like dull. I think that's done deliberately by the writer. I think they kind of want you to root for him a bit. But yeah, I rooted for Phantom. So yeah, don't invite me to a masquerade ball because I will go nuts. Right, I'm going to get rid of this plate and get a fresh plate for the strawberries and cream. This is very typical of British summertime. So this Cornish clotted cream, if you've not had proper Cornish clotted cream before, you probably won't have seen the skin that's on top of the cream. So it looks a bit funny, but trust me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this cream. It is delicious. But yeah, it has this funny kind of skin on top, and it is incredibly thick. Look at that, it's not even coming off the spoon. I might struggle to kind of dip the strawberries. I maybe should have got a less thick cream, but I love Cornish clotted cream. It's amazing on scones. So yeah, this is very typical, particularly in England. I suppose in Scotland you'd be looking more at raspberries, but strawberries will grow in Scotland as well. These are, let's get these out of the way so you can see the strawberries properly. Look at these are humongous. Look at the size of that. This is the size of it next to my head. It's huge. I'm going in for the first dip. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. They're so sweet. Wow. Quite often when you get a strawberry that's that big, it doesn't taste of anything. Like the small to medium ones tend to be more flavourful, but this, oh my word, it's so sweet. Mm. It wasn't a fluke. This one is just as sweet. I'll bet that most people watching will have a crush on a YouTuber. There's plenty YouTubers that I watch that, I'm not fawning over all YouTubers. It's not the only reason why you watch people. Sometimes you just, you like them like you would a friend or as some sort of mentor if you were, if you're watching something like factual. But if you're prepared to tell, let us know in the comments who's your YouTube crush. I'm enjoying these strawberries so much I forgot my drink. The mint will go really well with the strawberries as well. I didn't even think of that when I was thinking of the drink. I didn't really pair it with anything. I was just like, I want a mojito, that's nice and summery. I'm getting these smothered in cream. I don't care. No matter how much cream I put on it, it's still healthy because it's fruit. It's the same with chocolate chip strawberries. Still healthy. Mm. You do get some people nowadays saying, like, fruit's not healthy anymore, which is, okay, it has a lot of sugar, and I don't think you should have much in a day. You shouldn't have too much, but I think people can be a bit too strict on themselves. It's certainly easier, what does that mean? Certainly healthier than eating a bar of chocolate or, I don't know, an ice cream or something like that. Maybe, possibly not this, possibly not absolutely smothering things in cream, but fruit in general I think it's absolutely fine. It does still have lots of nutrients in it. Certain fruits will have more than others, but there's vitamins and minerals in there. you're still putting good nutrition into your body if you're eating fruit. And I think being too strict can confuse people. There's a little bit of hair on there. It can confuse people and it can make people think like, oh, well, you know, what's the point? This cream is so thick. Look at that. Oh, I've lost the top. It's that thick it got stuck. I realised I'm not showing you guys any close-ups quite yet. I don't want the cream to get on the picnic blanket or the floor. Also, can't get that close to the camera, it's quite far away. I had to put it back a bit so that I could get everything in. But dead juicy as well. Something I have thought of trying, diet-wise, is fasting. It's still kind of a weird concept for me because, you know, typically fasting was thought of being something kind of unhealthy, you know, like you're kind of brought up being told not to skip on meals. But there is some evidence to say that fasting can increase longevity, make you live longer. It might also help with gastric problems. I don't think all the sort of data is there yet, but you know, one thing that I've had read was that in places where the places where people live longest tend to be islands, tend to have societies where people fast as like part of their like their culture or religion, or you know, something along those lines, like as part of their life they do fasts. And there was like a list of things that these places had in common. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll probably find the article. If I can find it, I'll put it a link to it down below. Just for your own interest, because I find it quite interesting. There was certainly a lot around like the food that they ate, I think one thing was that they had mostly vegetarian or pescatarian, because like I said, there were a lot of them were islands, so they would have mostly a fish and vegetable based diet. The other thing was fasting, and yeah, the island thing. I think there was a few other things, but anyway, yeah. If I can find the article, I'll put it below. I think fasting's supposed to help with blood sugar control as well, is what I've read. And personally for me, I think it would be easier than a typical diet where you're restricting what you eat every day, because a fasting diet, you're just saying what I would do. There's various ways to do it, but I think what I'd like to do is a 24-hour fast once a week. I know you can do like 16-hour fast and things like that. And that, to me, sounds more feasible than restricting what I eat for the whole week. No, just once a day saying I'm not going to eat, because it's passive, isn't it? It's not like I'm having to say I'm going to eat a meal but stop somewhere during that meal, or eat less of a meal, and I'm not restricting what things I can eat, because that involves a lot of planning and a lot of hassle and potentially like calorie counting. It's a lot of fuss, whereas fasting is just, I'm not going to eat. You're saving yourself a bit of bother. These are so juicy. The juice is going always. That means everywhere in Doric, by the way. I've eaten a lot of strawberry and cream, but I don't feel like it's filling me up that much. I mean, I'm getting there, but these are so good. I'm happily going to keep eating them. I've got this one, and then I've got a teeny weeny one left. Can you see how juicy that is? So I think if I do it, it will be very difficult on that one day. But then that's it. And apparently it gets easier the more you do it. If it does go well, I'll let you guys know. If you don't hear about it again, it's probably not gone well. I think the straw's gotten saturated now with all the mint. Oh, I think the rum's hiding in there as well. It's got a kick. There's a bit left in there. And it tastes like the rum's got soaked into the mint leaves. Right, this is the last. I mean, I said this is an itty bitty strawberry. This is probably the most normal sized strawberry in there. It's just because it's not a behemoth like the other ones. It looks so small. Oh, lost the top again. You know what? I'm just gonna scoop up the cream. And then eat it from the spoon. It was very full of flavour. For a little strawberry. Maximum flavour. Well, as always, thank you for sitting here and watching me stuff my face. If you like this video, give us a like, give us a comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future. But till then, cheery bye. I'm going to have to readjust myself because my foot is going numb. Ow.